So here I am, shifting my seat, shifting my energy a little bit, and coming with a little bit more of a prepared message than those Holy Spirit talk off cuff, what is he going to say? I have no idea types of conversations that generally drop on our Thursday shows. So if you're tuning in to this, you are tuning in with the knowledge of what's about to come out, because I'm going to be specifically curating about the challenges, the obstacles, the trials, the tribulations that we face as global messengers. And it's a pretty long list. It's an exhaustive list. You could come up with your own and drop some in the chat right now if you're watching live and you're like, yeah, I've come up with these trials as I've been trying to get this message out to the world. And I think a lot of times just to define global messengers, global, of course, when you look on a map, is everywhere. It's to all nations. Go and tell all the nations, right? Make disciples of all nations. And this is a command from the Lord. And there are several commands in the word that is connected to our obedience, our action. He does give us free will, but are we actually showing up for it? Understanding that some people are called, well, we're all called to our neighbors, but to local neighborhoods, which are representative of all nations, because all nations derived out of one place from Adam and Eve. So no matter the territory, don't just shut me out because you're like, oh, I'm not going global. Well, you are. Your seed that you plant will go global at some point because of the ripple effect, not only energetically, but communicatively. Wow, that's a big word. Communicatively. I think it's a word. If I made it up, hopefully you understand what I'm saying. Ultimately, what goes in someone's heart will eventually come out of their mouth. And whether they give you the affirmation or the credit, we know this happens often, that, hey, so-and-so said this, and they're regurgitating that information or even regurgitating that fruit, right? Global messengers also can go around and just pass out fruit. We had this awesome conversation on another podcast that I host. If you have never gone and listened to it, I highly recommend it. It's specific for faith-driven entrepreneurs. It's a place where we commune on a weekly basis every Wednesday. In fact, at 12 o'clock Eastern, you're always welcome. It's called the Founder Collective Podcast. And we recently had a conversation about how and are we marketing our fruit, right? Generally, you're marketing an outcome. You're marketing an ROI. You're marketing all of an invitation, but are you utilizing a resource that God has already given you because of your abiding nature in Him? Are you marketing joy? Well, here on this show and through my business and all of those things, like joy has been the one thing that has been steadfast through my business, no matter if I'm a publishing house, no matter if I'm a podcast retreat host, no matter if I am a wholeness and wellness women's advocate, right? And we're going around the world. I do all of these things. What is the same fruit that's passed out no matter what the methodology is, no matter what the message is always the same? I hope you're realizing that too. No matter what my business strategy is or tactic or company name is or program title is at that time, it's all coming back to the fact that I have the fruit of joy. I have multiple, but really the joy is the most external, visible one that most people comment on. And I never thought about this until this long car ride the other day getting a puppy. And so I brought it up to the group that was talking, and you can go again and listen to this podcast. I'll link it below so you can have access to it more quickly. But it was so rich. And I thought about that as a global messenger, whatever your specific message is connected to the one message that we should be serving out, which is the good news, there are going to be a lot of obstacles. Okay, let's get back down to it. What are we here for? I actually have a list of 12, but I think I'm going to go, or it's actually, I compiled 10, but I'm going to probably, based on time, just so we keep this concise and I can keep your intention engaged, because I don't want to just be a Debbie Downer about all of the trials you're going to go through, because we know that that's inevitable, but I want to give you guys context to these particular things biblically. One, so you have a point of reference. I think it's so important. I had this amazing conversation. I won't go into details yet because it's really not my information to share. But my part of the story that I can share is that I've been praying for this person for a really long time. I have wailed on my face on the floor of my living room. I have been afraid from anxiety attacks and worry and fear based on stories that the enemy is trying to project on me about this person. I mean, we've been friends, we've been foes, we've been family. We're all the things in the above, but I've been praying over this person no matter what state of connectivity or relationship we're in. And he shared with me last night that he had an encounter with the Lord. Okay, first encounter with the Lord. So amazing. I could hear the giddiness, the awe, the wonder, all the things that the good news should provide to someone. And to know that we might not be the bearer of said good news in that particular moment. We might not, like Jesus with his own hometown, be the people who gets to witness and to say, oh my gosh, this person brought me to the Lord, or because of something that she said or he said, this thing transpired in my heart. But because of the fruit, we're always passing out. We're always giving freely because it's an abundance. It never runs out. You never run dry when you're connecting to the Lord. They take witness. They bear witness to your fruit. And you're always going to be a part of people's stories.